What is up, fight fans, and welcome back to another KJ MMA show. UFC 280 is officially in the books. Luckily for us fight fans, we have another great card this Saturday, UFC Vegas 63, and it is headlined by a really crucial featherweight bout right at the top. Calvin Kattar, Arnold Allen. It's basically a pick'em fight, Garrett, and that's kind of what I think when I think about these two guys. Both of them extremely technical, a lot of power, very well rounded. If you have a coin, you can flip it, and that's kind of how I feel. Do you have any thoughts on how to bet this safely? Because I just want to stay away from it and just enjoy it from a fighting fan aspect.
Yeah, I mean, this is as close as you could possibly get as a matchup goes. They're both extremely durable. They're both tough fighters. They fought elite competition, both of them. The only thing, Kattar's been used to 25-minute fights. Allen, this is his first time, but we've seen he has good cardio for the most part. He mixes things up very, very well with his takedowns as well as his strikes on the feet. Kattar has shown great takedown defense, and he's a monster at range, utilizing his boxing, which is arguably some of the best in the entire division. I'm looking forward to this fight. I really can't pinpoint who I think gets the job done. I would only side on if there was an underdog in the spot, but there isn't. It's basically, like you said, a pick'em. The bet I do kind of like is this fight goes the distance. I think both guys are extremely durable. I don't expect either guy to get finished. It's only at minus 130 for it to go the distance. I think that's a pretty decent line, and I see a back and forth technical fight between these two, and I'm taking the fight to go to distance. That's my favorite play on this main event.
Yeah, I agree with you. If I'm going to lean one way, I'm from New England, so I'm going with Calvin Kattar. But we'll see what happens. This is going to be a banger of a main event. This one is for the hardcore fans. These names might not be quite as well known as like a Charles Oliveira or a Piotr Jan or someone like that. But if you love the sport, this is a main event you won't miss. The co-main event is another interesting bout. Tim the Dirty Bird means Max Griffin. Max Griffin, but a minus 180 favorite, means the underdog 155. Is there any dog money here, Garrett, or is the safe play to go with Max Griffin?
I'm kind of confident in Max Griffin. I mean, he looked really good against Neil Magny. He arguably beat him and got kind of snuffed out of a win. I feel like he's somehow, he's in the mid 30s. He's been in the UFC for a while now, but he's actually finally starting to find his groove. He's, I don't know, I think maybe it was a change of camps and, just things personally. He's looked the best he's ever had. He's in the best shape of his life. He's coming off arguably one of the best performances of his career, even in a loss. And I actually expect him to get it done here. Tim Means, yeah, he's tough. He's durable. He's been in there with some of the best, but, he just got beaten up pretty bad against Kevin Holland. He got finished via Darce choke. I know he came into that fight with a ton of injuries. I think he came off surgery coming into that fight. 38 years old. He's got a ton of wear and tear, and I think that's going to be his downfall. I love fading aging fighters that got a ton of wear and tear, just like I did with TJ Dillashaw last week. And I'm going to do the same here. 38 years old, coming off a bad loss, a ton of injuries piling up over the years. Give me Max Griffin to get the job done.
Yeah. So just to be clear, 38 years of age in the real world is a young man.
Yes.
However, in the fighting world, 38, you're old. You're just getting up there.
That's true.
You're right. I'm going Max Griffin. I think that's a safe play. Let's move to a heavyweight bout. Oh God, Jared Vanderaa is back. Please, look. I'm at the end of the day, I'm a fan. I'm a human being. I like Jared Vanderaa. He's just a good guy. I've been interviewing him for years now, and I don't want to see him get his walking papers. Can he pull the small upset against Waldo Cortez Acosta? Acosta about a minus 190 favorite, Vanderaa plus 170 dog. Does he have any hope to stay in the UFC and get this win?
If it goes in grapples, but the way his tendencies are, he likes to stand and trade. He likes to get punched in the face. He likes to punch people in the face. I don't think this bodes well for him. Acosta's a pretty damn good striker. He's a boxer. He was a professional boxer as well as an MMA fighter. So in the stand-up, I think Acosta's got a pretty sizable advantage, especially in power, especially in technique. So it's going to come down to whether Vandeiro is going to be able to maybe mix it up, maybe get this fight to the mat. But he's averaging less than 1 takedown per 15 minutes. So I don't expect that to really happen. So ultimately, I got Acosta winning here, possibly by knockout. But he's actually a decent prospect, 7-0, coming into the Contender Series. He fought in LFA, so he's fighting decent competition on the regional scene. So he's not one of these guys fighting in Brazil, fighting a bunch of cans. No, the guy's on a legit record, and I expect him to get the job done. I think he's going to look good. I think this is a fight where they're kind of setting Acosta up to kind of look good. It's a stepping stone. If he wins here, they know he's kind of the real deal, and he's going to get pushed a little bit faster because it's in the heavyweight division. But if he slips up here, they're probably going to have to kind of slow the roll and slow build Acosta coming up into his next fight.
Well, you know where I'm leaning, and I'm just gonna say it is with my heart. So just take that into consideration if you're listening to who my pick is and you're wanting to bet a little money, because I'm not being completely objective when it comes to this one. Give me Jared Vandeiro for the win. Let's move on to a middleweight bout: Tresean Gore, Joshua Fremd. I'm really excited about this one. Fremd is about a -150 favorite, which obviously means Gore is the dog, but plus 130-ish. This could be like one of the best fights of the night. I feel like this is going to be back and forth. It could be a war. What are you thinking, Garrett? Are you leaning one way or the other here?
I mean, I think we're going to see a lot better version of Gore coming into this fight. He switched camps. Not quite sure. Saif Saud, is that who's in this corner? I'm not sure. It's not Factory X. It's the other one that's kind of like, I can't remember the gym. Sorry, people, but I think we're gonna get a much better Gore here. He's very desperate, and I feel like he's putting his heart and soul into this. He left his family for a while, to get things right. The thing is, Fremd is going to be he's going to know what Gore brings to the table because Cody Brundage already fought him, so they already have the idea of what's coming up for Gore, but I think Gore's got the power to make the difference. We see Fremd does get hit a ton. He leaves his chin way up in the air, and I would not be surprised if we see Gore get a knockout. His knockout is plus 375 by knockout. I think that is a viable option to bet. I would take a stab a little bit at that because he's got some legit power, and Fremd is gonna get hit. Fremd is gonna need to use his wrestling to get this win because at distance, yes, he's big, he's tall, he's long, but he doesn't use that. He utilized that reach very well. So I got Gore coming in there and possibly knocking him out.
Tresean Gore has a lot of power, so that very well could happen. Small upset that you could circle and make a little money on right there. Let's move to a light heavyweight bout. My guy, Dustin Jacoby, the Hanyak, back in action against Khalil Roundtree. Jacoby, a -160 favorite. Roundtree, a plus 140 dog. Does DJ keep the win train rolling? Does he keep on making that push towards the top 10 of the division here?
Absolutely. This is my most confident pick of the entire card. Dustin Jacoby against another striker. I will pick Dustin Jacoby all day, every day, unless they're an elite striker once he gets to the top. When you're getting guys that are not even ranked in the top 15 and they're primarily a striker, give me Dustin Jacoby all day, every day. He is one of the best strikers in the division. He's got power. He's got movement. He utilizes his reach very well. He's one of the most accomplished kickboxers in the division as well. He's fought better strikers than Roundtree. He fought bigger power punchers than Roundtree as well. Don't expect Roundtree to get the knockout. So if he doesn't get the knockout, he's not winning this fight because he's not going to take him down, and he's definitely not going to outstrike him and outpoint him. So Jacoby gets the job done, and I think -170 is a steal. I got it earlier at -155 in the week. Even -170 is still. I think he should be around -225 all the way up to -250. This should be a good fight for him. It's a fight that he's wanted in the past, and now that he has a number next to his name, Roundtree wants to fight him. Give me Dustin Jacoby in this one.
Yeah, give me DJ all day as well. Dustin Jacoby, he's a legit UFC fighter in the top 15. He was all-state in basketball, all-state in football. He's basically like a scratch golfer. I mean, some guys just have it all. Dustin Jacoby just has it all, and he this is his time right now. I fully expect him to pick up a big win here over Khalil Roundtree. All right, Phil Hawes, Roman Dolidze. Hawes -170 favorite, Roman plus 145 dog. Is there some dog money here, or do you expect Phil Hawes to potentially wrestle his way to a win?
I think the power of Hawes is what's going to be the difference maker. I think he goes in there and knocks out Delitzzi. Delitzzi, he definitely gets hit. I mean, he's a wild card. He's super wild on the feet. I think Hawes is a bit more technical. Hawes is finally coming into his own. He's looking good as of late. Delitzzi looked good in his last fight too against Kyle Dawkins. He absolutely floored him. But Hawes is a different animal. Hawes has got some legit power. He's not going to be able to just stand there and trade and think he's going to be able to take a punch from Hawes. It's just not going to work out. Plus, he's got the wrestling in his back pocket if he really needs it. Hawes has never been taken down, so I don't see Delitzzi being able to utilize his grappling in this fight. So I got Hawes getting the job done. Minus 170 seems like a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I think Phil Hawes gets the job done. I'm not so sure that he knocks him out. I kind of feel like it's going to go the distance, but either way, I like Phil Hawes. All right, Andre Arlovski, Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Arlovski, talk about an older statesman here in the UFC. He's got to be pushing 50 at this point. The former UFC heavyweight champion. He's a fairly sizable dog here, plus 215. De Lima minus 255. Arlovski's one of them guys that he's got so much experience. He's been in there with the who's who. I mean, I just want to stay away from it because I would almost want to put money on him because I feel like he always finds a way to stay in fights, to make them ugly, to turn it to his type of fight. I don't know. I'm not going to bet on it, but if I was going to want to win a little money on the dog, this is one where I feel like you could do it. Are you with me, or do you feel like De Lima is just going to be too much, too young, too strong?
Arlovski at plus 215 or 205 against Marcos Rogerio de Lima is an absolute must bet. I mean, at that line, he has to be bet because why is De Lima a minus 245, 275 favorite over anybody, especially after his terrible performance against Blagoy Ivanov? I mean, he started all hot and then he faded like he does every other fight. I expected the same to happen here. The thing is, Arlovski is a lot harder to hit than Ivanov, who kind of just stands there, super stationary and short. So he's very easy to hit. It's not going to be easy to hit Arlovski when he's just kicking you at range, keeping his jab at range, kicking and moving. It's not that easy. I know De Lima's got power, but he's 37 years old too. He's not young, and he's going to be coming forward and he's going to be coming heavy early. But once that power diminishes, he's pretty much done. I feel he may be good early in that first round, but he's going to fade, and Arlovski's just going to outpoint him for the remainder of the fight. Amir Arlovski at plus 215. I think that's an instant bet. Not saying to bet a ton of money, but he's definitely should be bet at this price. Absolutely.
All right, cha-ching. Andre Arlovski, we're both in agreement there. All right, the ugly man, Joseph Holmes. I don't know why he goes by that nickname. I can't remember. I asked him a while ago. He should be the handsome man. He's a handsome guy. He's back in action against Jun Young Park. Joseph Holmes, plus 190 dog. Park obviously is the favorite. He's about minus 220 favorite. That's pretty significant, especially for someone with the longest reach in the division. He's got a John Jones reach, go gadget arms, and we know how technical he is training with James Krause. I like Joseph Holmes here, and again, I don't want to sound biased because he's just a good dude, but give me Joseph Holmes on that dog money. Are you with me, Garrett?
Yeah, I if I would have bet this fight, I'd probably take the dog money on Holmes. He's plus 190, even at plus 200 at some spots. I think that's a pretty good dog spot. I'm not so big on Park. He's lost some pretty bad fights in the past. He's been knocked out. I'm pretty sure he's been submitted as well. Holmes has the height, the reach advantages on the feet. He utilizes it quite well, and then on the mat, he's a wizard. He's got some really good jiu-jitsu. I think he can make it a really hard fight for Park, and give me the dog here.
Okay. Geez, we're in agreement a lot on this card. Normally we have some differing opinions, but we're on the same page with this one. UFC Vegas 63 is our card here. All right, Steve Garcia, Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper is a big favorite here, minus 300. Garcia plus 250 dog. Do you like the dog money with Garcia here, or do you feel like the youngster Chase Hooper gets his hand raised?
Hooper probably finishes Garcia. I'm not impressed by Garcia at all. As on the regional scene, wasn't impressed with him throughout his time in the UFC currently. The dude could barely make weight. I'll be surprised if he makes 145. He hasn't made 145 in a couple of years. He had to go to 155 because he can't make weight. He couldn't make 135, couldn't make 145, and now he went up to 155. Now he's back down to 145. I don't know what his deal is, but I'm expecting him to get cut after Chase Hooper gets the job done. This is a winnable fight for Hooper. This is what the UFC is doing. They're giving him fights that he should and be able to win. This is one of those fights. Garcia doesn't have the best ground game. He gets hit a ton. This is a fight where Chase Hooper could possibly shine. He can show his improvements like he did in his last fight against Kolaris. I expect him to keep it going, get another dub, and and just look good. And he's a likable kid, so I'm taking Chase Hooper here.
All right, Cody Durden, Carlos do Carmo Mota. Mota is a fairly decent favorite, minus 160. Durden plus 140 dog. I feel like Cody Durden always gets just a little bit disrespected. I know that flying submission loss to Jimmy Flick. I mean, that was just bananas, but Cody Durden had a win in his last time out. I like the dog money here. I think he's going to get back in the win column. Do you think Cody Durden does, or do you feel like Carlos do Carmo Mota gets the W here?
Well, I mean, you look at the line. Mota just took this fight maybe 3-4 days ago, and he's a minus 165 all the way up to minus 177 favorite, which is kind of absurd. Yes, I know Mota is the LFA flyweight champion. He's very dangerous. He's got power in his hands, but other than against Johnson, he's fought fairly nobody. No one remotely good. Durden has fought elite competition throughout his entire time as a professional mixed martial artist. And then he's a dog here. Man, I have to take Durden as a dog against a newcomer on a day's notice and having to cut the flyweight. It's not like Mota is some small guy that doesn't cut a ton of weight. The dude is pretty jacked. So I feel like having to cut weight and a short amount of time against a wrestler in Durden, Mota's really never been tested as much as Durden's going to really test him in the grappling. I feel like Mota's probably going to start to gas as the time goes on throughout the fight. So yeah, give me Durden as a dog. And plus, he was supposed to go against Clayton Rodriguez, who is a very similar type of fighter as Mota. Kicker, Muay Thai striker. Both these guys very heavy-handed, got a lot of power. So Durden has nothing to really change in his game plan. He's got the same game plan going on to here, where Mota really has a lot to worry about because, he had nothing to game plan, nothing to really come off of in this matchup. So yeah, Durden plus money, take it to the bank.
Yeah. And I feel like this really could be a wrestling clinic where to the casual fan, it might not be the most visually appealing fight because it's probably going to take place on the ground. But honestly, that's the smart way for Durden to win this fight, to use his wrestling, to have that top control and to grind this one out and get a W. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. All right, Joshua Weems, he's stepping in on short notice to replace Garrett Armfield. Armfield had a staph infection and was forced out of the fight. So Weems is taking on Christian Rodriguez. Funny enough, I just interviewed Joshua Weems about 25 minutes ago. And I can tell you that he is as confident as anybody could possibly be going into this fight. He's on cloud 9 right now. He had that loss in Contender Series back in 2021. Since then, he's had some big wins, one of which over Mo Miller, finishing Mo at Fury FC. That's a signature win. I'm telling you, Mo's going to make it to the UFC one day. Mark my words there. So Joshua Weems coming in, big underdog here, plus 310. Christian Rodriguez, minus 375 favorite. I don't know as much about Weems' early career, but from what I've seen recently, he looks the part. He's 10-2. This is his time. I kind of like those odds, plus 310. I get it. He's coming in very, very short notice, but his weight's on point. I'm going to roll the dice and go with the newcomer here, Joshua Weems.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. I think the line's definitely off. Rodriguez is a good athlete. He's a good fighter. He's got power. He's shown good takedown defense in his last fight, which was a short notice fight at 145 pounds. This is back down at 135. But Weems is a dog. He's fought way better competition than Rodriguez has, and better than who Rodriguez is as a fighter. And he's used to short notice fights. This is nothing new to him. So he stays ready. And he's a guy that fights everything, whether it's boxing, whether it's MMA, jiu-jitsu, bare knuckle. This is a guy that loves to fight. he's a dog and he's going to make this a dog fight. And you're giving me a guy that's going to fight for your money at over plus 300. I'll take a shot all day, every day.
Yeah. And that's actually your curtain jerker. That's the first fight of the night, or so it appears anyways, according to the fight lineup on various sites. But that does it for UFC Vegas 63. We gave you all 11 fights in just under 22 minutes. Make sure you go out there and get your bets in, because Saturday is almost here. For Garrett, I am Ryan. It's been a pleasure as always. Make sure you go to the Vegas Odds YouTube channel and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.